Hi, I'm David, CEO of Ultra Financier Limited. Over the past 2 years, we've evolved to meet the changing needs of our clients, and I'm excited to share our new direction with you. Welcome to Ultra, where we redefine private credit solutions for high net worth individuals. At Ultra, we offer private credit, a fast and flexible alternative to traditional banking. Whether you're looking to expand your business, bridge a financial gap, or invest in new opportunities, Ultra is here to support you. Our vision is to lead in private credit, known for our expertise, personalized service, and commitment to excellence, to empower you with the financial flexibility to achieve your ambitions while upholding the highest standards of transparency and discretion. Why choose Ultra? We provide fast and flexible access to capital, setting us apart from the traditional banks. We're committed to building lasting relationships with our clients and helping them to achieve their financial goals. Ultra is more than just a lender. We are your partner in growth. Visit us at ultrafinancier.com or call 876-671-3802 to learn more. Ultra, unlocking growth with private credit.
Good morning, everyone. Fabulous. Welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to see you all here this morning. I'm delighted that shareholders and stakeholders are demonstrating the interest that they have in their company. So thank you for coming out. We exist to serve you, to ensure that you benefit from your shareholding in your company.
Dolla's outlook is bright. We're staying true to our mission of empowering our clients and our communities. And together with your support, we'll continue to reach new heights. I want to thank you once more for the confidence, for your investment in the team and the vision of Dolla Financial Services.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenroy Carr, CEO of Dolla Financial Services. Really a privilege today to present at our third annual general meeting of Dolla Financial Services since being listed on the stock exchange. Today we just looked at some highlights of the financial performance for 2024, looked at just some insights into the loan portfolio and just our strategic plans and focus for 2025 and beyond.
Hi guys, David Henriquez here, CEO of Ultra Financier. We just wrapped up our third annual AGM and just really proud to announce that here we are, Ultra, going into its third year now. We started the business in 2022 with our loan books sitting now at $1.5 billion, an interest income of $547 million for 2024, profit before tax of $239 million. So overall, a very, very successful year. As we push to 2025, we continue to grow. Our team continues to grow. We now have a team of 7 members. And we're just looking to move from strength to strength as we push into 2025, where we aim to have a loan book of about $2.4 billion and just continue to make our processes streamline and do everything we can for our customers, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who matter to us. So thank you again for supporting Ultra, and we look forward to 2025.
I want you to look into the camera and tell the people, what's the experience been like since you've taken up Dolla Financial Services as a taximan?
Well, big man thing, I tell you, love it. Because what I get from Dolla, I don't get it nowhere else. Straight. See? And I love the service. Quick, prompt, and sweet.
You said quick and prompt. How long it take as a taximan to really get through the application process and all them something? How long it take for you to get through and start what you think?
It don't take me that long. I'll be honest with you, it don't take me that long. Because when I talked to the lady, and so she said, give me a couple of days and I'll get back to you. And a couple of days, boom, boom, boom. She called back, I'm approved. You say for it? Yeah.
I like that. So what other benefits or services you got from Dolla Financial Services?
You want no big man thing. I'm a big man and I first win a gift card, $15,000 gas.
No man. I think you really probably have 15 grand?
15 grand gas.
15 grand?
15 grand. Full me tank and more.
Good morning, everyone. Fabulous. Welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to see you all here this morning. I'm delighted that shareholders and stakeholders are demonstrating the interest that they have in their company. So thank you for coming out. We exist to serve you, to ensure that you benefit from your shareholding in your company.
Dolla's outlook is bright. We're staying true to our mission of empowering our clients and our communities. And together with your support, we'll continue to reach new heights. I want to thank you once more for the confidence, for your investment in the team and the vision of Dolla Financial Services.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenroy Carr, CEO of Dolla Financial Services. Really a privilege today to present at our third annual general meeting of Dolla Financial Services since being listed on the stock exchange. Today we just looked at some highlights of the financial performance for 2024, looked at just some insights into the loan portfolio and just our strategic plans and focus for 2025 and beyond.
Hi guys, David Henriquez here, CEO of Ultra Financier. We just wrapped up our third annual AGM and just really proud to announce that here we are, Ultra, going into its third year now. We started the business in 2022 with our loan books sitting now at $1.5 billion, an interest income of $547 million for 2024, profit before tax of $239 million. So overall, a very, very successful year. As we push to 2025, we continue to grow. Our team continues to grow. We now have a team of 7 members. And we're just looking to move from strength to strength as we push into 2025, where we aim to have a loan book of about $2.4 billion and just continue to make our processes streamline and do everything we can for our customers, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who matter to us. So thank you again for supporting Ultra, and we look forward to 2025.
I want you to look into the camera and tell the people, what's the experience been like since you've taken up Dolla Financial Services as a taximan?
Well, big man thing, I tell you, love it. Because what I get from Dolla, I don't get it nowhere else. Straight. See? And I love the service. Quick, prompt, and sweet.
You said quick and prompt. How long it take as a taximan to really get through the application process and all them something? How long it take for you to get through and start what you think?
It don't take me that long. I'll be honest with you, it don't take me that. Because when I talked to the lady, and so she said, give me a couple of days and I'll get back to you. And a couple of days, boom, boom, boom. She called back, I'm approved. You say for it? Yeah.
I like that. So what other benefits or services you got from Dolla Financial Services?
You want know, big man thing. I'm a big man and I first I win a gift card, $15,000 gas.
No man. I think you really probably have 15 grand?
15 grand gas.
15 grand?
15 grand. Full me tank and more.
Good morning, everyone. Fabulous. Welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to see you all here this morning. I'm delighted that shareholders and stakeholders are demonstrating the interest that they have in their company. So thank you for coming out. We exist to serve you, to ensure that you benefit from your shareholding in your company.
Dolla's outlook is bright. We're staying true to our mission of empowering our clients and our communities. And together with your support, we'll continue to reach new heights. I want to thank you once more for the confidence, for your investment in the team and the vision of Dolla Financial Services.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenroy Carr, CEO of Dolla Financial Services. Really a privilege today to present at our third annual general meeting of Dolla Financial Services since being listed on the stock exchange. Today we just looked at some highlights of the financial performance for 2024, looked at just some insights into the loan portfolio and just our strategic plans and focus for 2025 and beyond.
Hi guys, David Henriquez here, CEO of Ultra Financier. We just wrapped up our third annual AGM and just really proud to announce that here we are, Ultra, going into its third year now.
We started the business in 2022 with our loan book sitting now at $1.5 billion, an interest income of 547 million for 2024, profit before tax of 239 million. So overall, a very, very successful year. As we push to 2025, we continue to grow. Our team continues to grow. We now have a team of 7 members. And we're just looking to move from strength to strength as we push into 2025, where we aim to have a loan book of about 2.4.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome, one and all. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the management of Dolla, may I welcome you all to this, our annual general meeting. In this meeting, we'll be reviewing last year's performance. You'll get an opportunity to have presentations from our CEO. You'll get the financials. You'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to vote on important things, all of which are set out on the agenda, which has been circulated to all shareholders well ahead of time. The agenda having been circulated, I will take it as having been read, and I will simply ask our Company Secretary, Mr. Jordan Chin, who does a lot of work behind the scenes, and you really should give him a round of applause for all the work he does behind the scenes, to establish whether we have a quorum, to tell us the rules for this morning's AGM, and thereafter you'll see me again for a few minutes and then I'll disappear. Jordan?
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning again, everyone. Morning, Chairman, morning, Directors, morning, members, and morning, guests. As Chairman indicated, I'll be taking you through the notice of the meeting, establishing a quorum, being present, and the rules of the meeting. I refer to the notice of the annual general meeting dated April 30th, 2026, with relevant details of the meeting and the ordinary and special resolutions stated thereon. This meeting is being held in hybrid format, which includes physical and online attendance of members. Chairman, I can confirm that a quorum is present in accordance with the articles of the company, having reviewed the member list present and the member list which has signed on. We have received one proxy, which has been duly noted. The rules of the meeting. Questions will be dealt with during the Q&A section of the agenda. This includes questions which were emailed to marketing@dollafinancial.com prior to this meeting. Shareholders joining us online can also submit questions using the Q&A function located on the right-hand side of your screen. After writing your question, please click the Send button located to the right of the text box. Shareholders present in person will also be given an opportunity to ask questions during this session. We will make every effort to answer as many questions as possible during the session. However, based on time constraints, any questions which were unanswered during the session will be answered by the Dolla executive members or staff after the meeting. Any unanswered questions which were emailed will be responded to after the meeting by a team member as well. For the purposes of this meeting, the microphones will be muted for online users. Regarding the ordinary and special resolution section, only shareholders can propose and second the motions for the resolutions and also vote. We ask that shareholders in the room raise their hand to propose and second. Shareholders online can select the move or second button, which will appear on their screen during the relevant section. All voting will be done using the online platform. We therefore ask that all shareholders use the link provided by email to register and vote on the ordinary and special resolutions at the appropriate time. Please note, you will need your JCSD or TRN number, and 30 seconds will be given for you to select your vote. As it relates to voting, please select the Vote tab to the right of your screen, then select For or Against option and confirm your vote. The chairman will be asked to determine whether the resolution has been carried after each resolution has been presented to the members. For shareholders online having technical difficulties, we ask you that you please contact our help desk, which has been set up specifically for this meeting at the following number: 876-927-4881. If a shareholder in the room or member in the room is having any difficulties using the online platform, I will accept a show of your hand to cast your vote. Chairman, we have gone through the quorum rules and established the notice of the meeting. We'll revert back to you.
Thank you, Jordan. So, having gotten all of the rules out of the way, we are now at the juncture where I can officially say the meeting is called to order. Welcome again. Thank you for being here. My name is Walter Scott, and for the time being, I'm your chairman. May I just introduce to you the other directors who are present this morning. There's Mr. Ryan Reed, who's our vice chairman. There is Dr. Michael Banbury, who just raised his hand. Mr. Dane Pattison, attorney at law. Ms. Alison Taff. We have apologies from Mr. Kadeem Mears and Ms. Lisa Lewis, and I suspect something has interfered with Dr. Patrick Linton being here, but his job is such that any number can play. He's on demand even more than Dr. Banbury. For those of you who don't know, sitting in the middle, looking like a young boy with the white sneakers, is our CEO, Mr. Kenroy Carr. Beside him, yes, please. Hi, Trevine, Ms. Trevine McKenzie, who's our group CFO and who really runs the company. The rest of us just pretend to do things here. And sitting beside our vice chairman is Mr. David Henriquez, who is the CEO of Ultra Financier. So, having gotten all of that out of the way, can we just very quickly treat with the minutes for the annual general meeting for 2025? Those minutes were circulated. Again, I'm going to take them as having been read, and I would ask for a proposer and seconder for these minutes. And please all don't get up at the same time. Can I have a hand for a proposer for the minutes? Kerry, might I have to call you out to propose the minutes, you know? Thank you. Shall I have to call out somebody else to second the minutes? We have a seconder, thank you. You have to give your name so Jordan can write it down, you know. Thank you. The minutes having been proposed and seconded, all in favor? Ayes have it. Thank you all very much. See, we're moving along with dispatch and quickly so we can get to the most important part, to hear about the money and for you to ask questions. So, may I now invite the Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Kenroy Carr, to make a presentation. Would you welcome him, please?
Thank you, Chairman. So, members of the board, our valued shareholders, special invited guests, my colleagues, and to everyone joining us online, pleasant morning. When I look back, let me see if I can just get this going. Awesome. So, when I look back at 2025, I see a year that required the company, it really required us to remain focused, adaptable, and disciplined in how we conduct the operations. We operated in an environment that presented a number of challenges. We had a situation where our customers continued to feel affordability pressure. Dolla, as well as many other players in the financial industry, would have experienced some amount of increased fraudulent activity. And towards the latter part of the year, we would have had to contend with the impact of Hurricane Melissa. That's during Q4 2025. Despite this, though, the business continued to grow. We remained profitable. Importantly, we actually increased profitability. And perhaps most important, we continue to strengthen the foundation of the company. So today, I will just share with you some key highlights from 2025, some insight into the loan portfolio, as well as some of the plans that we have for 2026 and beyond. Now, for 2025, we saw solid increases in total income, profit before tax, the loan portfolio, the group asset, among other KPIs. What I'm particularly proud of, however, is really the impact that the business continued to have on our consumers. During 2025, and once again, we disbursed close to $2 billion in loans to Jamaican consumers, to entrepreneurs and small businesses. And it really is a significant milestone and a step that speaks volume to the fact that we continue to play an important role in providing access and improving access to financing in Jamaica. The year was much more than about financial performance, however. Our One and Ready loan campaign, which was a massive success, it actually culminated in 2025 with the handover of a 2020 vehicle being used as a taxi to one of our valued customers, and obviously that immediately improved and increased the income and earnings of that particular customer. We established partnerships with ICII, with Amber Group, just as a strategic move to enhance the service offering and improve the service that we provide to our customer, make it more convenient for them to do business with us. Importantly, we welcomed Olympian Shanika Ricketts as a brand ambassador to Dolla Financial Services. The signing of Shanika really reflects the values of discipline, consistency, and just excellence that is aligned to the organization that we run with our shareholders. During the year, we also launched our bond raise that was arranged by Mayberry, largely completed in the year, but you'd have seen where it was closed maybe about a week into the new year. And finally, we are excited, very, very excited about the opportunities arising from the Evolve deal. About December 2025, you'd have seen an announcement where we signed on, we went into an understanding with Evolve to acquire the loan portfolio. And as a highlight, just to note that we recently, about a week ago, received an objection from the BOJ regarding that deal, so we should be seeing some or getting some additional information where that is concerned. Now, the operating environment I describe during 2025 as dynamic. In many respects, it was quite complex. On one hand, fraudulent activity across the financial sector increased, but what that did, it really heightened the need for stronger control and more robust verification processes. And of course, Hurricane Melissa, I mentioned earlier, disrupted economic activity and affected many of our customers. Many of our locations were within the areas that were heavily impacted by the hurricane. At the same time, though, there were opportunities. We saw where the demand for small business credit and for financing remained strong throughout the year. We continue to see that gap between what entrepreneurs, what small businesses need, and what the traditional institutions are actually willing to offer or what they're able to provide. For Dolla, though, the objective remains simple. We want to continue helping individuals and businesses access capital, but most importantly, we want to do this while maintaining prudent risk management and a strong portfolio quality. So just to take you through some of the financial highlights, as I mentioned earlier, our total income increased by 30% to $2 billion. I think that was a massive achievement. It is the target that we set out to achieve at the beginning of the year, and we were able to tick that box. The profit before tax, again, increased by 26% to $602 million. While total asset increased by 16% to $5.3 billion. And these results were driven primarily by the continued expansion of the portfolio, which we saw increased by 21% during 2025 to end at $4.8 billion. And of course, the team that we have here and the disciplined execution across the organization. Now, I just want to note that the growth that we achieve it's really solid growth. It's really incredible achievement because we did this despite increased provisioning relating to the hurricane, as I mentioned earlier, increased fraud write-offs, and all the other factors that we had to deal with during the year. So to still increase profit by 26% was really a significant milestone for the company. As we continue to grow, though, our objective is not just growth at any cost. We remain focused on building a business that is profitable, that is sustainable, and is capable of delivering long-term value to our shareholders. The portfolio quality is one of those things that we track. It's the asset of the company. It represents about 90% of the overall asset of the business as at December 2025. And this is one of the most important areas for management. So it's something that we look on an hourly, on a daily, on a weekly basis. And as you can see from this slide, our average loan period is approximately 24 months. You'd have seen this increase slightly from the prior year where the average was somewhere about 20, 21 months. And again, this is strategic because it allows us to better plan and forecast when it comes to income and how we manage the growth in income for the company. Business lending remains a dominant feature. Business lending remains a dominant feature for the company. You would have seen where this class of loans account for 90% of all of the loans that we disburse during 2025. And again, we're seeing where the average loan size has increased from about $1.1 million the prior year to $1.2 million during 2025. Now, as expected, the portfolio came under some pressure. The non-performing loans moved from 10% the prior year to 13%, while expected credit losses increased from 3% to 4% during 2025. Now, these movements were not necessarily unexpected. Again, I've mentioned so many things in the environment. While they're not ultimately where we want them to be, we note the drivers of these, and we have taken active measures to ensure that we can drive these, drive the non-performing down, drive the expected credit loss down. The important point is that we moved quickly to strengthen the controls when it came to the fraud matters, and we improved our monitoring and, of course, intensified our recovery efforts. Now, this slide will also give you some insight in terms of the portfolio segments. So you're seeing the composition of the loan portfolio, and one of the strengths of Dolla's portfolio continue to be how diversified the portfolio is, and just our emphasis on secured lending. As you can see from the graphs, we can see that approximately 88% of the portfolio remains secured business lending, which continues to provide a layer of protection for the portfolio and ensure that the portfolio remains resilient. The sector distribution also remained relatively diversified. You can see where the trucking, haulage, and transportation industry accounted for approximately 47% of our total loans. This increased from 36% the prior year. I must say, though, that this is actually a strategy that the company employed. The increase was deliberate, and it's really us trying to deepen our exposure in a sector that we see as central to economic activity. And again, it aligns with our secured lending model that we have for the business. And going forward, we will continue to focus on maintaining a balanced portfolio while improving collections and portfolio performance. Now, in terms of our priorities for 2026, we will continue on the path of our disciplined portfolio growth. As I said before, growth remains important, but it must be sustainable, and it must be supported by strong underwriting and risk management practices. Operational efficiency is also and will remain a major focus as we look to automate, to improve processes, and just to bring capabilities that are aimed at improving the turnaround times and the service delivery for customers. We will continue to strengthen our collections. We have seen in the latter part of 2025 a fall off in collections, obviously from the hurricane. And in fact, at that point in time, we did a swift assessment of the impact that it may have on the portfolio, which we also shared with our shareholders. And we saw where the collections would have been suppressed somewhat, but the good thing is that we're seeing strong recovery during 2026. We're excited about leveraging the benefits from the Evolve transaction. That's something that we'll be working on for the second half of 2026. This acquisition, we'll share more information, but it really largely reflects our presents an opportunity for the company to increase scale, to deepen relationship, and of course to improve our overall operating leverage. So for the second half of the year, of course, we'll be focused on just maximizing and any benefit that we can get from that portfolio. And finally, we remain committed to enhancing the customer experience. One of Dolla's strengths has always been our ability to provide simple. That was our tagline before, simple money solutions. And that is Still one of our strengths is always to provide that simple, flexible financing. And as we grow, we intend to protect that customer-centric approach that we have always taken as a company. Now, in closing, I would like to just take a moment to sincerely thank our chairman and board of directors for the continued guidance and support, our management and the staff, across the entire group for the resilience and just the dedication throughout the year, and our shareholders for their continued trust and confidence in the company. The progress achieved over the last year would not have been possible without this level of support, and I just want to note that Dolla as a company remained well positioned for the road ahead. We look forward to continuing to build on sustainable and long-term value for our shareholders. At this point, I'll just pause and ask David to come and make his presentation on Ultra. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Sirs Chairman and Vice Chairman, directors, shareholders, guests, my Ultra and Dolla team, and just in case I've forgotten anyone, all protocols observed. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for taking the time to be here with us in person, and for those who have joined us online, and for those who will be watching this in the future, thank you. To my Ultra and Dolla team, thank you for another year of unwavering effort and dedication to the mission that we are on together. Who or what is Ultra Financier? We began in 2022 as a luxury lender, an opportunity to use your luxury assets to unlock liquidity. Starting business in November 2022, the loan book quickly hit $250 million within our first quarter of operations, proving that there was a need for Ultra in the market. A lender who has the ability to operate under the Money Lending Act, provide customers with a quick solution to unlock the liquidity needed to pursue the business opportunities that may present itself, or just simply to bridge the gap until certain receivables are collected or financing is received from traditional institutions. I stood here a year ago presenting 2024's results, which were strong, positive, and very well received. But with any good story, there must be some hurdles for a team to overcome. 2025 was by no means one of the most daunting years we have faced and hope to ever face. It is no secret that the bandits were out in full effect to ravage the entire Jamaican financial sector. Ultra was not spared. We learned some valuable lessons, but difficult lessons. We had to make some very hard decisions and deal with some very difficult backlash. But we have survived it, and we have hunkered down and put things in place to protect ourselves against all types of bandits going forward. Given the lessons learned, we have tweaked a number of our policies and practices and put a number of new and more enhanced security measures in place to protect Ultra, Dolla, and our shareholders. We continue to ensure that we are speedy and flexible in adjudication and structuring of each facility, and continue to do our best to disburse loans as quickly as possible while adhering to our enhanced security processes. The rebrand. Ultra rebranded and shifted its focus. Ultra is no longer focused on being the luxury lender, but we now sit and plan to continue growing rapidly in the private credit space. Blue chip stock, real estate, both urban and rural, property, both residential and commercial, motor vehicles, both private and commercial, are the types of collateral used to access the private credit needed by our clients. As of December 2025, our loan book is sitting just above $1.5 billion. Securing the loan book is various types of collateral, as mentioned before, amounting to just over $3.6 billion. It's our policy not to exceed a loan-to-value ratio of 50%. Our loan book is 98% secured And by the end of 2026, we do intend to increase that number to 100%. As I mentioned earlier, based on our culture of financial discipline, integrity, and accountability, we made the decision to write off the loans which had implications of fraudulent activities and other such disingenuous intent. We, however, are pushing these matters both within the courts and with CTOC and FID, ensuring that we do everything in our power to recover all the funds previously written off, which will then be applied directly to our bottom line in the future. These write-offs had a negative impact on the main financial metrics such as profit before tax and estimated credit loss. PBT sat at just above $46 million at the end of 2025 and ECL at about 7.5%. Interest income sat at about $531 million, which based on the availability of cash and the market, it was a strong performance. Regarding our NPL, Ultra has always maintained the goal of ensuring our NPL hovers around the 10% mark. As expected, our NPL can fluctuate drastically based on the size and the nature of our loans. If a large loan falls into a non-performing state, we can easily have a 2 to 3% shift in our NPL. But there's no need to panic as these loans are all secured, and therefore we will take the necessary protocols to liquidate and ensure that the loans are closed off in a timely manner. We know liquidating real estate in Jamaica can be a lengthy process, but as such, these fluctuations will happen from time to time. 2025, the year that kept on taking. As we had gotten most things under control, October came around with Hurricane Melissa, which would have impacts on a number of things in our business. Customers struggling to make payments, potential customers unable to qualify for loans, and just overall damage and devastation to so many of our communities and our clients. We took the approach of granting our affected customers moratoriums and refinances where necessary and possible, and switched into survival and rebuilding mode to help as many communities as we could, as well as help as many of our customers as we possibly could. This is where the benefit of flexible financing comes in. I'm happy to report that none of the property held by Ultra as collateral was badly damaged, and all our customers have since been able to recover. Taking a look at marketing and PR, 2025 was quite low-key for us. We focused on below-the-line marketing, continued to build our social media and online presence with videos, graphics, educating the public on who we are, what we do, and how we do it. We also threw in a bit of comedy here and there just to ensure we don't take ourselves too seriously and we keep our followers engaged. We continue to sponsor some of our mainstay events such as the Jackson Bay Gun Club Sporting Clay Tournament, French Men's Climax, Exodus Jamaica Carnival, Mayberry Swim Classics, and the Caymanas Corporate Golf Tournament. It was a year that we felt immense pride to be able to assist where we could after Melissa, providing warm meals to the communities of Petersfield in Westmoreland, supplies and gifts to basic schools in St. Elizabeth for Christmas, school supplies and fans for Iron Mountain Primary School and Lion Hill Primary School. We survived 2025, and there's nothing that beats a strong comeback story. We've learned our lessons, and we are powered up to ensure we take 2026 by the horns to achieve and surpass all our targets. Our team now consists of Mario Brown, our VP of Sales, Daniel Goldsmith Ramcharan, our Head of Credit and Adjudication, and our Jack of all trades, our loan admin, Leanne Stone, and myself. The team is aligned and ready to sail Ultra back into profitable horizons. Our customers and our shareholders are the most important thing to us. And in this dynamic market, we are increasingly focused on improving our loan processes to better suit the needs of our clients and partners, while ensuring secure growth for the company and strong and steady earnings for you, our shareholders. Thank you, and I truly do look forward to presenting to you same time, same place next year with hopefully some very glowing 2026 results. I'd like to take this opportunity to ask Trev to come across and update us with the numbers.
Good morning, everyone. I am pleased this morning to be the presenter of the most interesting segment, the consolidated financial performance of Dolla for the year ended December 31st, 2025. So despite a year that presented a number of challenges, including affordability pressures among customers, increased fraud activity across the financial sector, and the effects of Hurricane Melissa, the group delivered another year of strong financial performance, which we are very, very proud of and grateful for. Interest income increased by 30% to $2 billion, driven primarily by the continued expansion of our loan portfolio and strong demand for our products and services. Net interest income grew by 27% to $1.6 billion, demonstrating our ability to grow revenues while maintaining a disciplined approach to funding and portfolio management. Profit before tax increased by 26% to $602 million, reflecting the resilience of our business model and the effectiveness of the strategic initiatives undertaken during the year. But most notably, earnings per share increased by 56% to 25 cents per share, highlighting our continued focus on creating value for our shareholders. These results are encouraging for both management and you, our shareholders, given the eventualities of 2025 and the need for stronger returns in 2026. Now, when we take a step back and look beyond a single year, which would have been 2025, it is then that we understand the progress that has truly been made by the company. Over the last 5 years, Dolla has transformed significantly. Total income has increased from approximately $195 million in 2021 to almost $2 billion in 2025. Profit before tax has grown from $168 million to $602 million. Our asset base has expanded from less than $1 billion to over $5 billion, while the loan portfolio has grown to approximately $4.8 billion, up from $751 million when we executed the IPO in 2022. What is most important is that this growth has been achieved while continuously strengthening governance, enhancing our control environment, investing in technology, and building a much stronger team. As the company grows, managing expenses efficiently remains a critical focus area, last year especially. Operating expenses for 2025 were approximately $697 million, broadly in line with the prior year, despite continued expansion of the business and the loan portfolio. However, it is important to note that the year was impacted by a significant increase in expected credit losses, which we have been speaking about all year, and our CEOs did make mention of this eventuality. During the year, the company recognized approximately $285 million in expected credit losses and write-offs. Approximately 85% of this amount related to a subset of loans that were impacted by fraudulent security documentation, an issue that affected a relatively small portion of the loan portfolio but required full provisioning in accordance with IFRS requirements. Now, following the identification of these matters, management undertook a comprehensive review of the affected accounts, strengthened underwriting processes, enhanced verification processes, and implemented additional controls to reduce the likelihood of reoccurrence. And of course, the relevant timely disclosures were also made. As a result, the company maintained an efficiency ratio of 51% during 2025, reflecting our continued focus on operational effectiveness while investing in systems, people, and controls necessary to support future growth. So what's important here is that while provisioning recorded during 2025 was significant, it is important to emphasize that the issue affected only a small fraction of the overall portfolio. The company remained profitable, generated over $600 million in profit before tax, increased equity by 52%, and continued to grow its loan portfolio and dividend payments. This demonstrates both the resilience of the business model and the effectiveness of the corrective actions taken by management, supported by its board of directors. While growth remains important, and this has been a topic of discussion throughout 2025, so too is our commitment to delivering returns to our valued shareholders. In April 2025, the company paid a dividend of $30 million, equivalent to 1.2 cents per share. 1 cent per share. Following another year of strong performance, the board approved a dividend payment of $150 million, which was also paid in April 2026. And most recently, the board approved another dividend payment, which is approximately $92.5 million to be paid in July 2026. So this stands for a total of $242 million for 2026 alone. I know many shareholders here have questions re dividend payments, but to put that into context, last year's dividend yield was 0.48%. This year's is currently 3.9% within the first 6 months of the year. So as mentioned in previous earnings calls, we are aiming for a dividend yield of between 3 to 5%, which still allows us room for expansion with the cash we are currently generating and raising. Turning now to our balance sheet. At year end, total assets increased by 16% to $5.3 billion, reflecting continued growth in the loan portfolio and expansion of our operations. Liabilities increased by only 4% to $3.6 billion, demonstrating our prudent management of our funding structure. Most encouraging was the growth in shareholders' equity, which increased by 52% to $1.7 billion. This substantial increase was driven primarily by retained earnings generated throughout the year and serves to further strengthen the company's capital position. And we were only able to achieve this growth because of the retention of dividends throughout last year to build equity so we can have a stronger 2026. Now, before concluding, I would like to provide a brief update on our performance during the first quarter of 2026. The year started positively, where we saw increased momentum and recovery when compared to 2025. Total income for the quarter was $514 million, while net interest income reached $389 million. Our loan portfolio increased to $4.9 billion, and total assets grew to $6 billion, reflecting our continued business expansion. Now, importantly, profit before tax for the quarter was $187 million, representing strong year-over-year growth and demonstrating the momentum which we entered with 2026. Cash and cash equivalents increased significantly to $802 million, strengthening our liquidity position and providing flexibility to support future lending growth. And of course, we received proceeds from the $1.2 billion bond raise, which was executed by Mayberry, which closed in January 2026, which contributed to our strong cash position as well as at the end of the period. Now, as we discussed earlier, 2025 was impacted by a fraud-related issue which affected a small subset of our loans, and we are pleased that the enhancements and effectiveness of those enhancements has been tested throughout the first quarter, and the results have been encouraging. While ECL and NPL remains areas of focus and close monitoring, The underlying portfolio continues to perform very well, and management remains confident in the strength of the company's risk management framework. Importantly, as David mentioned, any future recoveries from loans previously written off will be recognized directly in profits and could provide additional benefit to our future earnings. In closing, I would like to thank our shareholders for their continued support. I would also like to recognize our board of directors, our management team, and our employees whose hard work and commitment made these results possible, especially in our Q1 of 2026. We remain focused and disciplined to grow and to actively manage the company's risk. I will now hand over to our chairman for the next item on the agenda.
Thank you, Trevine. Colleagues, friends, before I move on, let me do three things very quickly. Firstly, to recognize and welcome Ms. Lisa Lewis, Director. Hi, Lisa. Secondly, to recognize and welcome the team from PricewaterhouseCoopers. I see Garfield, Reese round the back, and Ms. Minley. And thirdly, just to encourage you, my brain is a very odd brain. It works in strange ways. So all I've taken away from the excellent work done by the team is 30, 26, 56. Yes, Dan, stop smiling. 30, 26, 56. So revenue went up 30% to 2 billion. Profits before tax went up 26% to 602 million. And earnings per share went up 56%. That was last year. Fabulous year. Tremendous work by the team. But 30, 26, 56 represents last year. They're in this year. And I will only tell you that when we come back here next year, I expect to have a better shape for you. So, that being said, team from PricewaterhouseCoopers. Yes, please. Ms. Minley.
Good morning, everyone. Independent auditors report to the members of Dolla Financial Services Limited. Report on the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements and the standalone financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated financial position of Dolla Financial Services Limited, the company, and its subsidiaries together, the group, and the standalone financial position of the company as at 31 December 2025, and their consolidated and standalone financial performance, and their consolidated and standalone cash flows for the year that ended. In accordance with IFRS accounting standards and the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act, what we have audited, the group's consolidated and standalone financial statements comprise the consolidated statement of financial position as at 31 December 2025, the consolidated statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of cash flows for the year then ended, the company statement of financial position as at 31 December 2025, the company statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the company statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the company statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements comprising material accounting policy information and other explanatory information. Basis for opinion: we conducted our audit in accordance with international standards and auditing, ISOs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statement section of our report. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Independence. We are independent of the group in accordance with International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including international independent standards issued by the International Ethics Board for Standards. Issued by the International Ethics Board for Accountants, IESB code, as applicable to audits of financial statements of public interest entities. We have fulfilled our ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESB code. Our audit approach, audit scope. As part of designing our audits, we have determined materiality and assessed the risk of material misstatement in the consolidated and standalone financial statements. In particular, we considered where management made subjective judgments, for example, in respect of significant accounting estimates that involve making assumptions and considering future events that are inherently uncertain. As in all our audits, we also address the risk of management override of internal controls, including, among other matters, consideration of whether there was evidence of bias that represented a risk of material misstatement due to fraud. How we tailored our group scope. We tailored the scope of our audit in order to perform sufficient work to enable us to provide an opinion on the consolidated financial statements as a whole, taking into account the structure of the group, the accounting processes and controls, and the industry in which the group operates. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. Key audit matter. IFRS 9 financial instruments, probabilities of default, forward-looking information, and significant increase in credit risk, group and company. Refer to notes 3F, Part 4 and 5, 4B, 7, and 26A to the financial statements for disclosures of related accounting policies and balances. As at 31 December 2025, loans net of provision for credit losses total of 4.8 billion and 4.3 billion on the group's consolidated and the company's standalone statement of financial position, respectively. These balances represent 91% of total assets for the group and 87% of total assets for the company. The impairment provisions recorded under the IFRS 9 expected credit loss model amounted to 148 million for the group and 134.6 million for the company. The IFRS 9 ECL impairment model takes into account reasonable and supportable forward-looking information as well as probabilities of default, PDs. PDs represent the likelihood of a borrower defaulting on his obligation over the next 12 months or over the remaining lifetime of the obligation. PDs are developed by management based on the group and the company's specific historical default rates for each industry classification. In performing historical analysis, management identified economic variables impacting credit risk and ECLs for each portfolio. Various scenarios were identified and weightings assigned using macroeconomic factors as well as management's experience and judgment. Management also performs scenario analysis to determine the impact of future economic conditions on PDs in the countries and industries where the group and company have loan exposures. A macroeconomic indicator is determined, which is statistically linked to the credit risk loan exposure. Management assesses whether there has been a significant increase in credit risk by evaluating the extent to which adverse changes in one or more credit risk drivers could increase the likelihood of default since the origination of the loan. Management's determination of PD's forward-looking information and SICR was made with the assistance of an external expert. This was considered a key audit matter due to the complexity of the techniques used to determine PDs, the number of significant judgments made by management regarding possible future economic scenarios, and because stage migrations resulting from the SICR can materially impact the ECL. How our audit addressed the key audit matter. Our approach to addressing the matter included the following procedures amongst others: updated our understanding of management's ECL model, including any changes to source data and assumptions, and tested the mathematical integrity of the model, evaluated the competence, independence, and objectivity of management experts, evaluated the design and tested the operating effectiveness of certain relevant controls over the forward-looking information and SICR in the ECL determination by performing inquiries in management and inspecting management's evaluation, review and approval of key assumptions, judgments, and forward-looking information. Evaluated with the assistance of our internal specialists the appropriateness of management's judgment pertaining to forward-looking information, including macroeconomic factors and the basis of the multiple economic scenarios used. We further sensitized the various inputs and assumptions as part of our reasonableness test. Evaluated the reasonableness of management's judgment pertaining to PDs, SICR, and forward-looking information, including macroeconomic factors, by reviewing assessments provided by global credit rating agencies and applying sensitivities to the forward-looking information multiplier. Tested the completeness and accuracy of the historical data used on a sample basis by agreeing the details of the customer payment profile to source documents. Tested the staging of a sample of loans by reference to the number of days outstanding on the loan. Tested the critical data fields where applicable used in the ECL model for the PD determination, such as default rate, effective interest rate, write-off data, and loan type by tracing data back to source documents. Evaluated the reasonableness of the weightings used for the base case upside and downside scenarios by agreeing forward-looking information to external sources published or pronounced by reputable third parties. Sensitize the probability weightings used in the ECL calculation. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the annual report but does not include the consolidated and standalone financial statements and the auditor's report thereon, which is expected to be made available to us after the date of this auditor's report. Our opinion on the consolidated and standalone financial statements does not cover the other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the consolidated and standalone financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of the consolidated and standalone financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS accounting standards and with the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of consolidated and standalone financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the consolidated and standalone financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the group and company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters related to going concern and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the group or the company or to cease operations or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the group and the company's financial reporting process. Auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain a reasonable assurance about whether the consolidated and standalone financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISAs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in the aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these consolidated and standalone financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ISAs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the group and the company's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the group or company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the consolidated and standalone financial statements, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the group or company to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, content of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the consolidated and standalone financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. Plan and perform the group audit to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the financial information of the entities or business units within the group as a basis for forming an opinion on the consolidated financial statements. We are responsible for the direction, supervision, and review of the audit work performed for purposes of the group audit. We remain solely responsible for our audit opinion. We communicate with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including significant deficiencies in internal control that we identify during our audit. We also provide those charged with governance with a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements, including independence, and to communicate with them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence, and where applicable, actions taken to eliminate threats or safeguards applied. From the matters communicated with those charged with governance, we determine those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements of the current period and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our audit report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter, or when in extremely rare circumstances we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest of such communication. Report on legal and regulatory requirements. As required by the Jamaican Companies Act, we have obtained all the information and explanations to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been kept so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the accompanying consolidated and standalone financial statements are in agreement therewith and give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in a manner so required. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Garfield Rees, signed PricewaterhouseCoopers Chartered Accountants, Kingston, Jamaica, 31st of March, 2026.
Thank you, Ms. Mindley. So, shareholders, we're at the point where we have to deal with some resolutions, and I'm going to invite our company secretary, Mr. Jordan Chin, to come up and take us through the resolutions. Thereafter, we get into questions and answers. The exciting part for some. Remember our numbers, please. 30, 26, 56. Can't go wrong with that. Jordan?
Thank you again, Chairman, and good afternoon again, members. I had greeted you earlier with a morning, but we've passed the threshold and gone into the afternoon. So at this time, I will give you all a brief reminder of the rules that were indicated earlier regarding this section. I would like to remind the shareholders of the rules previously stated regarding voting. Only shareholders can propose and second the motions for the resolutions and also vote. Only shareholders, please. Shareholders are to vote using the online platform. Shareholders will be given 30 seconds to vote using the online platform. We are encouraging all voting to be done online. However, if there is any issues with the online platform for members within the room, I will accept a show of hands by the shareholders to cast your vote. If you are proposing or seconding a motion, please clearly stand and state your name for the record. I may know you from up here, but for the purposes of recording the meeting of the minutes properly, we're going to ask for you to stand and state your name. We will begin with the ordinary resolutions. Resolution number 1, to receive the reports of the directors and the audited accounts for the 12 months ended December 31st, 2025. The resolution reads as follows: that the report of the Board of Directors and the audited accounts for the financial year ending December 31st, 2025 be and are hereby adopted. Could I ask a shareholder to propose? Please stand and state your name, sir. Livingston Young. Could I have a second? Mr. Lancel Bloomfield. All right, shareholders, you can now take this opportunity to vote online. Shareholders in the rooms, could you please raise your hand as well in favor of the resolution? Thank you. Any opposed? Yes, Dr. Banbury, the correction has been made. Chairman, based on the online and also members present, I ask that you declare that the resolution has been carried.
I declare the resolution carried.
Shareholders' resolution number 2, to ratify interim dividend payment and declare it final. The resolution reads as follows: that the interim dividend of $0.012 per share paid on April 11th, 2025 to shareholders on record as at March 28, 2025 be and is hereby ratified and declared as final, and that no further dividend be paid in respect of the year under review. Could I have a shareholder propose the motion, please? Please stand and state. Mr. Chad Winter, yes, thank you. Could I have a seconder? Sir, please stand and state your name. Douglas Wilson. Shareholders, voting will commence online. I'll ask for the shareholders in the room to raise their hand in support of the resolution. Thank you. Any opposed? All right, thank you. That will be dealt with in the question and answer section. Please just refrain for only voting for or against the proposed resolution. So in the question and answer section. Chairman, based on the voting being displayed on the screen for online users and votes in the room, I ask that you declare the resolution being carried.
I declare the resolution carried.
Resolution number 3, to retire and re-elect directors. The resolution being proposed is that the directors retiring by rotation pursuant to Article 102 and Article 103 of the Articles of Incorporation are Ms. Lisa Lewis and Ms. Alison Taff. To consider and if thought fit, pass each of the following resolutions. Ms. Lisa Lewis, being eligible, offers herself for re-election. Resolution 3.1 reads as follows: that Ms. Lisa Lewis be and is hereby re-elected. That Ms. Lisa Lewis be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Could I ask a shareholder to propose? Please stand and state your name. Sorry? Yvonne Williams. Could I have a seconder? Please stand and state name. Tomlinson. Thank you, shareholders. Please, in the room, raise your hand to support the resolution. And any opposed? We will wait on the online shareholders at this moment. Chairman, I ask that you confirm the resolution being carried.
I confirm that the resolution has been carried.
Resolution 3.2 reads as follows. That the preamble first. Miss Alison Taft, being eligible, offers herself for re-election. Resolution 3.2 reads as follows. That Miss Alison Taft be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Could I have a shareholder propose, please? Mr. Chad Winter, thank you so much. Could I have a second? Sir Kenroy. Could I have a show of hands in the room for members to support? Thank you. Any opposed? We will await online voting to finalize. Chairman, I ask that you confirm the resolution being carried.
I confirm that the resolution has been carried.
Thank you. Resolution number 4, to authorize the board to appoint auditors. The resolution reads as follows. That the board of directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint the auditors of the company. Could I have a shareholder propose? Please go ahead. Repeat, please, the name. Damien, yes. Good. I'm sorry, all questions and answers, if it's not relating to the resolution, will be answered and taken after. So we just ask that this process relate only to this, please. Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Lancel, yes, Mr. Bloomfield. Could I have a show of hands for a support to the resolution by the shareholders in the room? Thank you. Any opposed? None opposed. We'll await the result of the online. Technical team, has been carried. Chairman, I ask that you confirm the resolution being carried.
Thus being assured, it has been carried.
Resolution number 5, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of auditors. The resolution reads as follows: that the Board of Directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditors of the company. Could I have a shareholder propose, please? Thank you, Mr. Livingston Young. I appreciate it. And a seconder? Mr. Chad Winter, thank you so much. Could I have a show of hands for the shareholders in the room in favor of the resolution? Any opposed? None opposed. We'll await the online results to be displayed. Technical team, have the votes been tallied? Has been carried. Chairman, I ask that you confirm the resolution being carried.
I confirm that the resolution has been carried.
Resolution number 6, to authorize the Board of Directors to fix the remuneration of directors. The resolution reads as follows: that the Board of Directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the directors of the company. Could I have a shareholder propose? Thank you, Mr. Livingston Young. And a seconder? Thank you, Aline Tomlinson. Could I have a show of hands from the shareholders in the room in support? Thank you. Any opposed? None. We'll await the results for online. Tech team, the resolution has been carried from the online tally. Chairman, I ask that you confirm the resolution being carried.
I confirm that the resolution has been carried.
Shareholders, members, we'll now move to special resolution. Just bear with me, this is a long one, so I'll be reading a little bit. To amend our follows. A document or information is sent, 1B, in an electronic form if it is sent or supplied in an electronic form, for example, by electronic mail, facsimile, or by other means, while in an electronic form, for example, sending a computer disk or tape or QR code by post or hand delivery, 1C, by electronic means if it is sent initially and received at its destination by means of a computer, laptop, tablet, mobile phone, scanning devices, QR code, automated or photographic devices, or other electronic equipment for the processing, including digital compression, downloading, or storage of data. 2, entirely transmitted, conveyed, and received by wire, by radio, optical means, scanning devices, QR code, mobile telephone, tablets, iPad, laptops, computers, or other electromagnetic means. C, by posting a link to access the document, information, or notice via upload to the Jamaica Stock Exchange website and publishing a notice in a daily newspaper that it has done so. Clause 154 to read, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, where it is provided that a document, information, or notice may be sent in electronic form or by electronic means, subject to consent, in the event that the company uploads the document, information, or notice to the Jamaica Stock Exchange website and publishes a notice in a daily newspaper that it has done so, then the members shall be deemed to have been served and or given their instruction to the company for the document, information, or notice being sent or served upon them in the aforementioned. Okay. Could I have a shareholder propose? You're proposing, sir? So David Henriquez and I seconded. Mr. Reid, Ryan Reid. Thank you. Shareholders, could I have a show of hands for the members in favor? In the room, thank you. And any opposed? None opposed. Thank you. We're just awaiting the online tally. Confirming that the online tally has indicated the motion being carried. Chairman asks that you confirm the resolution being carried.
I confirm that the resolution has been carried.
That's the last one. Shareholders, I will confirm being one per person. Any additional questions will be answered, but they will be taken after the session to ensure that most shareholders or all shareholders give an opportunity to ask a question given the time constraints that we do have. We'll be asking members to ask questions in regards to the annual report, which is the purpose of this AGM, and any matters that have raised during the session today, any topics discussed today. So we ask that it be limited to the annual report and discussions that have happened today. We have received 3 questions online. We will move to the online questions first, and email questions that went into marketing, email that was sent out earlier, and then we will take questions by shareholders in the room. We have received 3 questions from online users. Gemma, will let me yes, so I will go ahead, identify the person who's asking the question based on the online platform, and ask for a member of the executive team and the panel to answer. So Mr. Javon Russell has asked, will Dolla be going back to the market anytime soon to say list bonds or do our APO? Who will be taking that question?
Repeat the question, Jordan, please.
Sorry. So will Dolla be going back to the market anytime soon to say list bonds or do an APO?
Okay. That's a good one. First, I think the simple answer is that I wouldn't be surprised if sometime later during the year you sit down over there talking to us about a potential fundraise. We are really happy for the confidence that our shareholders and investors have placed in the company. At this point, I can say that the company's leverage, we have adequate cash, and our focus now is to prudently deploy those funds in a way that will continue to grow the portfolio. As we move into the latter part of the year, then that's a question that we can address.
Thank you. We have another question from Mr. Michael McKenzie. What is the timeline for the acquisition of Evolve loan book?
All right, so I'll also take that one. As I mentioned in my presentation earlier, we recently received word from the BOJ in the form of a no objection to the deal. So at this stage, we are pretty much finalizing agreements. In another several weeks, we should be closing the deal. And of course, we will have a transitionary period that is expected to last about 2 months. So largely in the second part of the year, that will be a big focus for the management in terms of working on that acquisition and incorporating it in the group results.
Thank you, Kenroy. The last question from the online users is again from Mr. Javon Russell. Seeing that it's limited to 3 questions, I will restate this question again, by the same user. So, Dolla is currently mainly focused on loans and business lines around loan facilities. Will there be any attempt to diversify into other areas such as real estate or manufacturing so as to make the company more resistant to shocks in the financial sector?
I do believe that we have a very diversified loan portfolio. I mean, the question spoke of real estate, and I recall from the chart earlier that real estate represents about 22% of the loan portfolio. So we're always seeking to diversify, always seeking to just look at sectors that align with the secured loan strategy that we have been employing for several years now.
Thank you, Kenroy. I've just refreshed the tablet and checked the email, and those are the questions that has come in. So we will now open the floor. Again, I'll remind shareholders to raise your hand, state your name, ask the question, and limit it to matters which have been discussed today or in the annual report for which this meeting is surrounding. So please, to give everybody an opportunity and to stay within the time limits, we ask that one question be asked per shareholder, and any other questions we will answer, but after the AGM or at a further time directly after. Thank you.
Yeah, Livingston Young. My first time coming to Dolla Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Yeah. What are the plans for grow the company 2026 and 2027?
Thank you. I'll ask our executive member of the team to respond.
I'll take that question as well. Thanks, Mr. Livingston. And we again mentioned quite a few of the strategies that we plan to employ during 2026 and in the future. Of course, I'd have mentioned earlier that one of the key areas for us is focusing on growing the loan portfolio, but ensuring that it is built in a resilient way that will continue to generate income and continue to return value to the shareholders. We just mentioned the Evolve deal, which really forms a part of our strategy to broaden our customer base. And of course, a lot of marketing effort should be coming in another few weeks, a lot of campaigns and promotion. The demand for the products of Dolla Financial remain very strong, and we'll just capitalize and leverage those benefits to continue to grow the business.
Yeah, the next one, delinquent. Well, I'm just one. Yeah, delinquent borrowing. People who don't like when they borrow from me, they don't like to, and that's that they won't pay now. But them are the one give them. What you think about? Explain that to Sheola.
Thank you, Mr. Young. We'll accept that second question as a final question from you.
Can you repeat the question, please? Delinquent
borrowing. Mm-hmm. People who don't like to pay a loan, pay back a loan. What are the plans they set in place to get back your money?
We spoke of that earlier. That is when we talk about the protection of the loan portfolio and the secured lending strategy that we have at Dolla. It's one of the key reasons why
relative to other microfinance company, we have a very low ECL or expected credit loss, because even when loans do get to a default stage or a non-performing stage, in 90% of the cases, we do have collateral that we can repossess or we can liquidate to recover those proceeds. So that is largely a part of the reason why loan provisioning remains very low for us relative to most players in the industry because of the secured loan strategy.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Check collect, you know, because we don't bring no company.
Thank you, Mr. Young. We have another question.
Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. Carrie Tape, shareholder, Mr. Scott, members of the senior team, board of directors. I have 4 things, but I'm just going to ask one.
Thank you.
Okay, I noticed on page, what is this, 65, you have total income and interest income broken out from 2021 to 2025. On the left-hand side of the page 664, I see you have year over year, 24 over 25 December comparing, but I do not see what I would like. I'm asking, it's not mandatory, but I'm asking for a 5-year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-year of the statement of key financial information for 5 years instead of just 2 year over year. Would that be okay to ask you for for next year's annual report? It is customary. Please, financial.
I'll ask Traveen, our CFO, to handle that question.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, and thank you for pointing that out. That's very relevant information.
Yes, thank you. I will ask my questions after.
Yes, thank you so much. So we'll answer all questions after, just for the purpose of the AGM
yes,
meeting.
I understand. Thank you.
All right, we have one more question in the back. And then we have one more after that, and then we'll get to you. After that question is asked, we'll come to you, and then we'll close off, because I'm not seeing any more hands.
Pleasant afternoon, Lansel Bloomfield shareholder. Mr. Chairman, I have 3 questions and a comment. So
we'll take one for purposes of here, and then we'll ask the other 2 after.
Okay. On the consolidated statement, page 1, note 16. Mr. Chairman, in 2024, your lease liabilities was 25.616 million. In 2025, this line item has climbed to 54.851 million. This increase is over 100%. Please give some clarity on this increase.
I'll ask our CFO to handle that question as well.
Mr. Bloomfield, thank you very much for that question. During 2025, we would have had a significant amount of our leases that would have expired, including our largest lease space, which will be in Montego Bay, Fairview. With the renewal of that lease, it was booked in its entirety, as we are required to do by IFRS, and that's why you would have seen such a large increase year over year.
All right, thank you very much.
And we have our last question. Yes, sir, you're coming to you right now. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Morning.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, I should say. Douglas Wilson, shareholder. Yeah, Douglas Wilson, shareholder. Before I ask my question, there's an observation that you didn't explain why there was a need for the special resolution. But that's not my question, really. The question is, in the presentation, notwithstanding the outstanding performance of the company, which I commend you for, what I kept hearing is not so much the devastation of Melissa, but fraud. Most of the presenters mentioned the fraud. I'm not asking you for the details of the fraud. I'm just wondering, was it internal, which I understand fraud to be, or was it external, like scammers and cyber attacks and so?
Thank you. Kenroy or Traveen?
So I'll take the first, and Kenroy can take the second half of the question.
Sure.
The very first question, thank you for that. I'm glad I got a chance to explain it. So based on the articles the way it was before, we were required to make, let's say, physical notices to our shareholders. And what this means is that we will need to send notices by the mail. This is extremely expensive to the company, and we recognize that we can basically have savings throughout the year and beyond by implementing the electronic means of communication. So what this means is that we will now be able to communicate with our shareholders by email, by Instagram, by our website, rather than going through the slow post that many persons don't even recognize, don't even receive their mail. So this will allow us to save up to $2 to $3 million per year just by making this change to the Articles of Incorporation. I hope that answers your question.
And in relation to the fraud question, again, for as much as possible during 2025, I believe the fraud would have been one of the most significant things that impacted the operation. It was nothing that was unique to Dolla, because we've seen quite a few instances where if you look in the newspaper, so often you see cases relating to fraud being experienced by other financial institutions. So to answer the question, the fraud was in fact external. The important thing for us is that once we realized, we ensured that we gave the appropriate notices. So this is something that we shared publicly with all our shareholders, and just how swiftly we moved as a company to look back at the controls, implement measures that ensure that we mitigate and as much as possible prevent a reoccurrence in the future. And I believe that from those foundations, would have seen significant adjustment to policies and procedures in the latter part of the year, and those will in fact protect the business going forward.
Thank you, Kenroy. We'll just take one last question from the microphone holder now.
Name is Howard Fong, shareholder.
Yes.
This is a simple question. I just wanted to hear the CEO talking about ultra. I don't know what ultra is. What is ultra? Let's explain to me what ultra is.
David, the CEO of Ultra, would you like to?
Thank you,
sir. Would you like
sir.
to take that question, sir?
So Ultra is the subsidiary of Dolla. We formed in 2022, and we focus on the larger ticket items. Once Dolla was acquired their micro-lending license, there became a large portion of the market that they were not allowed to lend to. Ultra now fits that gap. So as a group, we can now lend across the entire market. So we lend to high net worth individuals, people who earn more than $15 million a year, whose company's revenues are more than 50. We sit in that gap. Yes.
100% wholly owned subsidiary. All right, thank you, shareholders. As I said, the entire team will be here. They will be here after the AGM. You can ask any one of us any questions that may arise to your minds thereafter. I'm going to ask the chairman to come up and do the closing remarks now.
Kerry, you have a question? True. Oh, you didn't ask a question? Oh no, I didn't realize you hadn't asked your question. Please. No. No indulgence required.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry for that outburst, but I needed to say something. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on your performance. It is exemplary, especially in the light of the fact that we have had beryl and other impacting factors, Melissa, in the local environment. Your professionalism and service is fantastic. However, just a few points to note, if I may, though I do not sit on your board. When we come to the annual general meeting, we come to listen to the board. Your board is scattered all over the room. Your board is not on the head table. That is my first observation. My second observation is that the screen in the back was being blocked by your members. We were not able to see clearly. I wear glasses, I'm 64, and when I attend a function, I would like to see the board quite clearly. I'm in the second row. The third, there is no reason to indicate at this level of detail on page 38, the personal remuneration for the attending of the meeting. You only need to provide a full figure. When I look in the back of the annual report, the figure is not reflected as the same. You need to correct that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, Mr. Livingston was up first before I come to you.
Me never get no book, you know. Somebody else use a phone, you know. Me say, page 120, note 24, 21, and 22. See, there, Mr. Chairman, 2025, 2024. This is cash flow operating activation. Net profit. Did you hear, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, hearing you.
Net profit adjustment, discretion, amortization, interest income, interest expense, foreign exchange and losses, tax expense, credit losses. All right, 2025. So 2025, 24, 21, 22 of 28,486,000. The bracket between 2025 of 1,592,000. Can you explanation it? 24, 21, and 22. You have 25 and 24. Can you explanation it, please?
All right. Thank you for your question. Could you assist me once more with the page on the annual report?
Page 120, because of the phone, 120. Note 24, 21, and 22.
Note 24 on the financial statements.
So you have 21,
I'm with you.
24, and 22.
So we have note 24, the expenses by nature, correct?
That's right, yeah.
All right, let's go now with the question. I'm here.
The adjustment for, what is the adjustment for 5,049,900 and something? You jump down to 21, 1 million, the bracket, I don't know what bracket stands for, 1,592,540. Explanation of it, please.
All right, I'm having difficulty finding that specific section, but as soon as I come off stage, I can take the question.
That's December the 31st. This is the company statement now. Here, December the 31st, 2025. It's true, it's on the phone, we can't take it.
No worries, we can take it off here.
No, me like to explain for me. Explain for me. Because interest in cash, foreign exchange, tax expense, profit before taxation, cash flow, operating, activating. Go on, explanation. More and more, go on. Note 24, 21, 22.
Mr. Livingston, can we please just ask you to hold that question, and as soon as we come off stage, then we can take it, because we're not really following at this point.
I don't think they're following you, Mr. Livingston. Yes. So let them be able to find it so they can answer you properly.
Yes. All right.
Yes, sir.
Lanzel Bloomfield here again. Mr. Chairman, two quick comments. First of all, I don't like to get the sense that we are having an AGM once a year and we are being rushed to ask our questions. I think that every single shareholder should be given ample time, ample opportunity to make their presentation. I just don't like that at all.
And Mr. Bloomfield, it has been heard loud and clear, and we will ensure going forward that there is adequate time and provision for all of this.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And my other comment has to do with the resolution on the electronic means of communication and the use of the QR code. Many of us are not tech savvy, including myself. And I have tried previously to open that QR code on my phone. I don't have anything other than a smartphone. And it just did not work. And I would like to ask of you to provide us with some proper instruction as to how to open and get that done. Please. Thank you.
That's a valid question, sir, and we will ensure that in the package that goes out, There are detailed step-by-step instructions.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You're
Chair.
welcome, sir. Yes, man. I have two on this side. You're Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson again. Thank you very much. Just a very quick one. Guyana, you have a, what do you call it, subsidiary in Guyana?
It's being wound up completely.
It's being wound up?
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't make sense to ask the question.
Which is why you haven't heard anything about it. Yes, sir. In the orange.
Shareholder Damian Austin.
Yes, Mr.
It's a
Austin.
follow-up question to my friend here in terms of the fraud. In the book, we see it as external fraud and observer talk. But what I didn't know is the nature of that fraud and B, the money value of that fraud.
I don't know that we need to drill down into all the details, especially since investigations are still going on. But at a very high level, Mr. Austin, let me just say this.
Okay. I didn't know that
No,
investigation is still going on.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Both the Financial Investigations Division, MOCA, and the new entity that took over from CTOC, they're all investigating. I have no doubt, given where they've reached, that soon there will be some arrests. But what I will be able to say at a very high level for you is that you had impersonation as one aspect of it. People with bogus documents saying that they're Mr. Austin with a different picture saying they're Mr. Austin with TRN and everything. You had bogus land titles on the same parchment paper, bogus motor vehicle registration certificates on the things that come out of motor vehicle registry, but they're all fraudulent. Any imaginable fraud you can think of has been taking place in Jamaica. You would recently have seen where 4 banks have been carried on by over 600 million, and some people have been arrested, including a doctor. That is the extent of what is happening in the country. Everybody is being affected.
Thank you, Mr.
CIBC got 96 million.
Thank you,
and so on
Mr.
and so on.
Chairman. You have explained properly that fraud.
If there are no other questions, there's something I omitted to do. You're most welcome. Something I omitted to do at the very beginning, and so if I can just ask for a little attention and an indulgence now. During the course of the last year leading over, one of our directors, Mr. Jesus Johnson, very sadly passed. I would ask that we observe a minute's silence in his memory, please. Thank you, colleagues and friends. May his soul rest in peace and may light perpetual shine upon him. This has been a most interesting annual general meeting. And I'll say the following using a metaphor. When you go to the party and the dance and it's nice, you want it to stay longer. We have heard you loud and clear. The party and the dance next year will be longer, with more space for more questions and everything else. I personally, and I'm sure the management and the directors appreciate that the shareholders are as involved as they are, and it is a good thing. Thank you very much. So, we're at the end for today in this format. But as you have heard, directors who are here, senior management who are also here, will make themselves available for you to come and ask questions. They'll give you the answers. Yes, there's something that we need to find in note 24 to sit down with Mr. L.A., and we will do that and answer the questions, and we will answer all of the questions that you have burning. I wish to thank you all very much for being here, for participating as enthusiastically and as vigorously as you have. We wish to thank you. We promise to continue to do our best during the course of this year so that when we come next year, the numbers that we spoke about, if you recall, 30, 26, 56, will be exceeded. The meeting is at an end. Thank you all very much.